Meet Daniel and Sarah, both 38, both got the same MBA from the same state school, graduated the same year, walked across the same stage. Daniel makes $115,000 a year as a marketing director. Sarah makes $112,000 as an operations manager. They text each other sometimes about getting lunch and never actually doing it because neither of them can really afford it. Not on paper, not technically, but in the way where you look at your bank account on a Thursday and feel that low hum of dread you can never quite explain to anyone who doesn't already know what it feels like. They're not irresponsible people. They're not buying boats. They're not gambling. They're smart. They worked hard for those salaries, and they are completely, quietly, invisibly trapped. And here's the thing that will either comfort you or unsettle you depending on where you are right now. It's not their fault. There are 3 salary traps buried inside the American financial system that almost nobody names out loud. And they are specifically designed to catch exactly the kind of person who is working hard and doing everything right. My name is Robert, and what I'm going to show you today are the 3 invisible ceilings that keep educated, hard-working Americans running hard and going nowhere, and the specific point where each trap finally loses its grip on you. I'll warn you ahead of time, the 3rd trap is the one nobody wants to talk about because it's not a bank doing it to you, it's you doing it to yourself. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Let's go. Trap 1, the gross income illusion. Daniel's offer letter said $115,000. That number is completely fictional. It does not exist. Nobody has ever actually received $115,000 from a job that paid $115,000, and here is why that matters more than almost anything else in this video. By the time federal income tax, state income tax, Social Security, Medicare, and his employer-sponsored health insurance premium finish their work, Daniel is taking home somewhere between $72,000 and $78,000 a year, depending on his state. That $115,000 salary is delivering him roughly $6,200 a month in actual spendable money. Not $9,583, $6,200. Now here's where the trap clicks shut. Daniel's rent is $1,850. His car payment is $480. His student loans, which paid for that MBA, run $610 a month. His phone, internet, subscriptions, and utilities are another $380. Groceries for one, roughly $450. We haven't touched gas or clothes or a dinner out or a dentist or a birthday gift or the $200 his car needed last month. Daniel's making over $110,000 and he has approximately $230 left over at the end of the month, if he's lucky. And every single one of his friends looks at his title and his salary and thinks he is doing fine. His family thinks he is doing fine. His LinkedIn profile absolutely radiates doing fine. He is not doing fine. Here's what the research actually shows. A study from Lending Club found that in a recent survey period, roughly 61% of Americans were living paycheck to paycheck. And that number didn't drop dramatically as income climbed. People earning 6 figures were still showing up in those numbers in significant percentages because the trap isn't income. The trap is the gap between what the offer letter promises and what actually lands in your account, multiplied by a lifestyle that was quietly calibrated to the fake number. The fix isn't complicated, but it requires one uncomfortable conversation with yourself. Before you make any financial decision, rent, car, vacation, you calculate it against your take-home number, not the gross, not the salary, the actual number that hits your account on the 2nd and 4th Friday. Everything else is math you're doing wrong from the starting line. Trap 2, the promotion treadmill. This one is more subtle, and it's the one that catches the people who figured out trap 1. Sarah got a promotion 18 months ago. She was making $94,000. She negotiated well, pushed back twice, and landed $112,000, an $18,000 raise. She went home and felt for about 3 weeks like someone who had genuinely changed her life. Then something quiet happened. She moved to a slightly nicer apartment. not extravagant, just one that felt more appropriate for someone in her position. She updated her wardrobe because client meetings were part of the new role. She started going to a gym that was actually near the new office. Like, she got the direct flights now because the layover ones felt like something she'd outgrown. 18 months later, she is saving almost exactly the same dollar amount per month as she was at $94,000. She got an $18,000 raise and kept $0 of it. Psychologists have a name for what happened to Sarah. They call it hedonic adaptation. The idea that humans are extraordinarily efficient at adjusting to new circumstances and then recalibrating to want the next thing. The car becomes just your car. The apartment becomes just where you live. The joy of the upgrade evaporates in roughly 90 days, research suggests, but the financial commitment stays for years. The data behind this is genuinely startling. A study tracking lottery winners found that within a year, their reported happiness levels were statistically indistinguishable from a control group, and their spending had reorganized around their new normal so completely that many were in worse financial shape than before they won. You don't have to win the lottery to fall into this. You just need a promotion and a reasonable desire to feel like your life reflects your progress. The move that breaks this trap is specific, and it's one you have to make within 30 days of a raise before the lifestyle inflation has time to become invisible. You take a minimum of 50% of every after-tax raise and automate it directly into an investment account before you ever see it. You let your life stay exactly where it is for 6 to 12 months. You let the gap between what you make and what you spend widen on purpose. That gap is the only place wealth is ever actually built. Everything else is theater. On Trap 3, the comparison economy. Yeah, this is the one I told you about. The one that nobody wants to hear because it doesn't have a bank to blame. Daniel follows people on Instagram and LinkedIn who make roughly what he makes or slightly more. Sarah's closest friends are all in similar income brackets. This feels normal. It feels like community. What it actually is a reference group. And your reference group quietly sets the ceiling for what feels like enough. There's a famous study from Harvard. Researchers asked participants which world they'd rather live in. Option A, you earn $50,000 and everyone around you earns $25,000. Option B, you earn $100,000 and everyone around you earns $200,000. Most people chose option A. They would rather earn less in absolute terms as long as they were earning more than the people around them. Read that again. Most people would take a literal pay cut to feel relatively better off. This is not a character flaw. It's a deeply wired human instinct that evolved in small tribal communities where your relative status determined survival. But it is being weaponized against you at scale by an entire economy built on showing you aspirational images of people slightly above your income bracket every single day, algorithmically for free. Daniel doesn't need a boat, but he sees enough people in his feed on boats that a boat has quietly entered the outer atmosphere of his sense of possibility. And every dollar he unconsciously redirects toward looking and feeling like the people he watches is a dollar that doesn't make it into a brokerage account. Sarah's friends are going to Europe this summer. She is going to Europe this summer. Not because she particularly needed to go to Europe right now, but because the alternative is staying home and watching the stories and feeling behind. The fix here is the hardest one of the three because it requires you to deliberately shrink your reference group, or at minimum, add a second one. If everyone you compare yourself to is spending at your level or above it, you will spend at that level. It's almost mathematically certain. But if you deliberately put yourself in environments, online or in real life, where the people you respect are building wealth quietly, living below their means intentionally, and measuring success by net worth rather than lifestyle, your sense of normal starts to shift. You are not immune to social comparison. Neither am I. Neither is anyone. The question is only whether you choose your comparison group or let the algorithm choose it for you. Daniel and Sarah are not failing. They are succeeding at the wrong game. They followed every rule they were given. Get the degree. Get the job. Get the promotion. earn more. And then nobody told them that earning more inside a broken set of rules just means running faster on the same treadmill. The three traps don't announce themselves. They don't look like failure. They look like progress right up until the Thursday when you check your account and feel that hum. Trap 1, you're calculating your life against a number that doesn't exist. Use take home. Trap 2, every raise is an opportunity to build wealth that you're currently spending within 90 days. Automate 50% before it becomes visible. Trap 3, your reference group is a financial decision, not just a social one. Choose it deliberately. None of this requires a different salary. Daniel and Sarah could change their entire financial trajectory this year without a single promotion or raise. The salary was never the problem. It was never going to be the problem. The problem was 3 invisible traps that were specifically, almost elegantly designed to catch the smartest, most hardworking people in the room. And now you can see them, which means they don't work on you anymore. One honest note before you go. None of this is financial advice. I'm not an advisor. These are patterns I've watched play out in math I've run. Take what's useful. If this shifted something for you, drop a comment and tell me which trap caught you the hardest. I read all of them.